I have so much fun, because this is what I'm realizing is the magic truly gets to unfold when we are having this level of precision in every sphere of our lives. And then we realize, gosh, the answers are all right here.
Welcome to the Energy Upgrade Podcast. I'm your host, Vanessa. And if you are a high-achieving woman, a successful entrepreneur, an inspiring entrepreneur, or just a woman with kick-ass big dreams, you're in the right place. If you value your energy, your health, if you want to be a biohacker, tap into longevity, if you want to raise the impact you have in this lifetime, you're going to have a lot of fun around here. As a second-time seven-figure business creator, certified health practitioner, and soul biohacker, I'm here to reconnect you to your energy, to the soul of your business, and to your superpowers. Let's go. Welcome home.
Today, I want to come and talk to you about root cause healing and the use of data. Now, I can't claim to be a biohacker if I'm not connecting to data at all. A lot of people often ask me, what the heck is biohacking anyway? And to me, biohacking is really about optimization. It's about, okay, we have a body, we have a human body, we have a meat suit. How do we get to optimize it so that we can not only live longer, but live better? So increase both our quality of life and maybe our quantity of life. Now, I'm not here to tell you I want to live until I'm 200 years old, but I'm here to tell you that in the biohacking space, there's a lot of hacks, there's a lot of tricks that are not discussed by the media, that are not put out there by the general public, that are not going to be told by your physician. It's just because it's not fully accepted yet. But there's a lot of hacks, tricks that will help you get bigger results with less time, that will help you amplify your impact with less output. And I'm all about that. You know, I've been in entrepreneurship for 12 years. So of course, I'm all about ROI, return on investment. And to me, I find that biohacking allows me to increase my ROI of time, of energy, of money, of everything. Now, here's the thing. I do find that the biohacking world out there is very masculine driven. You know, you may have heard of Dave Asprey, who's the father of biohacking, and he's incredible. I attend his conferences every year, and I love the work he does, and I think it is so needed. But I think there's also a feminine version of that needed, meaning I think there's also room for a little bit more heart, a little bit more soul, a little bit more feminine energy, a little bit more contemplation of the mental load that we carry as women, that, you know, our bodies at a cellular level, at a biological level, respond differently. So that leads me to talk about how I use data with my clients in order to biohack, not blindly. So what this means is, and I wanted to come and talk about this today because I actually had a conversation with my clinical coach. So in my team, I have a holistic coach that helps my clients with ongoing accountability, one-on-one support when it comes to lifestyle changes, implementing these changes. She's a holistic nutritionist. You may have heard of her, Kim, before. She's been on the podcast before, and Kim is really tremendous at helping clients not only have a new plan, but stick to the plan, right? Because it always comes down to that. And I also have a clinical coach in my team. She's, you know, the queen of labs, I call her. And so she's the one that will spend time with you if you run labs through me, and she will kind of debunk all of it and give you a personalized report. And her and I were chatting, and she told me, she's like, Vanessa, I have to tell you, all of your clients have the best results. Like, they have the best labs that I have ever seen. And she's in the US and she sees people from all over. And I said, what? Like, wait a minute, what do you mean? And she's like, well, Because we tend to test hormones quite a bit, stress, metabolism. So that means we test thyroid, cortisol, sex hormones. We test vitamin D, blood sugar, insulin, all these things. And she's like, your clients, by the time they come to me, usually I've done roughly about 3 months of work with them. She's like their results are so good. So what you're doing really is working. And I thought, oh, okay, this is cool. This is really interesting. So that means that when we start biohacking in this way, it actually works. And it got me thinking and it got me reflecting on my clients that I do these labs with. For the most part, they're all very ambitious empire builders, entrepreneurs. They are basically what most people would refer to super moms for most of them. And so here's a common factor I'm noticing in women that are holding a family together and holding a business and themselves and their leadership and their personal development. Like, it's a lot. Here's the one thing that is different versus the general population. It's cortisol. This is what I'm noticing is like the pitfall. Because cortisol is our stress hormone. So you can't imagine that these super moms, these badass business builders, these empire builders, they need a lot of cortisol. That's their stress hormone. That's what's keeping them in the fire. And this is usually the first thing that we notice is off on their charts. So here's the thing. It's really interesting because we can actually biohack our body and support our sex hormones, our blood sugar. But that tends to be the cortisol, the stress tends to be what ends up eating us up. And so I've really been crafting around that a bit of a method, and I call this the energy upgrade method. And I've talked about this before, but where I really, really work on, let's reconnect you to your body. Let's dive into this feminine energy. Let's start reconnecting to our heart. Let's clean up and purge all the densities. And densities comes in the form of, yes, parasites, yes, toxins, mold, heavy metals, but they also come in the form of suppressed emotions. So let's get rid of that first. And let's clean up our lifestyle. Let's level up our identity through our standards and our boundaries. Let's decide, what are we going to commit to and what are we going to start saying no to? And when we start embodying these changes, which, by the way, of course, yes, it's about, I'm a big fan of, let's say, having a smoothie as a breakfast and, moving every day and doing 10,000 steps a day and all these things. But it's what I'm talking about here is a level of embodiment that is really, really closely connected to your conviction, the conviction that you have to your mission and to the person you want to be in this mission, right? Because all the women that I work with, and I'm sure that all of you listening, none of us want to be this burnt out version, like hanging by a thread, but being successful at work. Like, I've been there, I've done that. I can tell you it is not appealing at all. It is not sexy. And if there's one thing I want to make sure is that you don't find yourself there, but most likely you already have felt it. You've already have experienced it if you found your way here. So how can we become this higher version of ourselves that is able to unlock higher levels of success without necessarily pouring more, so without more output? And a lot of it has to do with the input, so how we take care of our container, of our human suit. Like, how the heck are we taking care of this, our vessel? And then we get to pour this embodiment, this vision into our business, which is going to change everything. It's going to change our level of leadership, our level of presence, our level of creativity, our level of innovation. It's changing the game. It's changing the bigger picture. It's changing the perspective, the context, everything. And then you get to pour this energy into also like softening the heart. Because at that point, you get to trust yourself. You get to remember that you're amazing. You get to love yourself again. You get to love your body. You get to honor your words. And when you start locking in those three pieces, so body, business, the third piece that gets to lock in this is the soul. And the soul is closely connected to your heart. Now, why am I talking about all of this when I started talking about labs? Trust me, I'm going to loop all of this together. Trust me, it's all going to make sense. But to me, I love using the labs, the data, to prove that actually when you do these three things, and usually they're in that order, when you do these three things, and when you are guided and you start biohacking at that level. So to me, biohacking means you start having this level of conviction. You start really honoring your time as your most precious currency. And therefore, yes, not that we're looking for shortcuts, but we're looking for amplification. Okay, so I have 1 hour here. How can I make the most out of it? How can I have the most impact in that hour? And sometimes it's an output impact. So how can I be this person that is sharing my message to the world? So for example, using a podcast, doing a masterclass, teaching, whatever it is, being on stage, that's like, okay, I get to maximize this hour because I know I'm speaking to multiple people at once. But sometimes the impact is inwards. So how do I maximize the input? So maybe then we can use some biohacking tools. Like, of course, we can pull on, red light, PEMF mat, saunas, Epsom salt baths, dry brushing, all the things like the supplements, the NAD, the peptides, all of it. But you can see that they're going to start, all these things are going to start locking into you at a very different level. To me, it becomes like locked and loaded. At one point, it's like, this is my new identity. And so I get to really have this like very laser sharp vision, laser sharp eye, which to me is the lens of biohacking, which is very masculine, but very like vision, very leadership focused. And I get to bring this vision into every sphere of my life, which is my body, my business, which is the impact I want to have in the world, and the soul. The soul connected to the heart is also the human I am here to be, the mom I'm here to be, the relationship I have. It's like, it's all encompassing. So this reflection that my clinical coach gave me about the results and how women in my world had such fantastic, stress response and metabolism. And yes, their output is massive, but still like they're super connected to their bodies. And yes, there's always room for fine tuning and improvement. Always, always. And, I get my labs done every year, and every year I'm like, I've never achieved perfection, and I don't ever think I will. Like, I don't think it's possible. By now, I know this. I'm not chasing perfection, but I love to use data once a year, especially when it comes to hormones, to be like, okay, let's stop guessing here, because that's also part of what biohacking is. Like, it's like, let's take the guessing out of it, shall we? Like, let's just start treating our time as our most precious currency. I don't have 3 months to fool around. Like, I don't. So let's go. So that's how I use biohacking. And sometimes people ask me, like, what does that mean to biohack your business? It's bringing that laser sharp focus lens into everything you do. It's the level of precision that we bring at everything we do, but we also do it with a soft heart. We do it less with the mind, more with the soul, more with the heart. And that's why I always say I do biohacking. It's the same level of precision, but a completely different energetics, because we actually get to consider, like why you're here, your bigger mission, your soul's calling, the whispers. We get to like, and this is where I have so much fun, because this is what I'm realizing is the magic truly gets to unfold when we are having this level of precision in every sphere of our lives. And then we realize, gosh, the answers are all right here. So if you're listening to this and you're like, I never tested my hormones, I have no idea what my levels are at, I'm feeling a bit off lately, maybe you're tired in the morning, maybe you feel tired in the afternoon, maybe there's been some weight gain. Yes, you could be in perimenopause, but here's the thing, that is not the root cause. So let's stop guessing. Let's figure out where you are and let's try to get to the bottom of this, figure out the root cause of any imbalances. Let's start straightening that up using the energy upgrade method. Let's start connecting to your body, to that feminine energy, listening to your soul's calling, and let's start to see everything kind of naturally unfolding. Like that's literally how it works. The path is going to start slowly revealing itself. It's really quite magical. And it is quite an honor for me to get to support women on this journey. So if ever you are feeling called, I did a little survey on Instagram where I was like, hey guys, like I never really talk about this stuff. Do you want me to talk about it more? And it was like a whooping, like 99% hell yes. And it was quite an important reflection actually to me because I was like, okay, this is an area I need to improve. I don't think I do my work actually justice. I don't think I'm showing the depth of it. So as an integrated health practitioner, I get to support you at that level, you know, and I'm not claiming to be a naturopath. I'm not here to replace a naturopath, but this is an alternative if you also want to weave in this whole, you know, body, business, soul, or if you don't have your own business, it could be, you know, you could replace the word business by leadership. So, you know, business, self-leadership, soul. I look at results with a completely different eye, but it's great because we have Jenny on my team, the clinical coach, who will bring you all like, okay, let's tweak this, let's do that, let's take this supplement, let's take this one at night. Like she's going to provide all of this really high level type of precision. And then I'll come in and do another layer with the biohacking and the optimization. So what you were many of you told me on Instagram when I did that survey, like, how do I get going? Like, where do I start? And at first I got a little bit surprised because to me, I don't offer labs unless you're working with me. Like, it's not a service I thought was appealing on its own. But it turns out that a lot of people were interested. So I am releasing the opportunity to get your numbers done with me and with my team. If ever that is something that is of interest, just go on my Instagram at vanessa.grutman or fam_biohacker in one of those places and just comment labs and I will send you the link. And we're offering this option for people who want to do the full stress, mood, and metabolism test. So this is the one where we take a really deep dive into your sex hormones. So that's estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, DHEA. We also get to do a full thyroid panel, which is barely never done these days, sadly. So we test not only your TSH, but your T3, your T4, which by the way, if we don't know your T3, we actually don't really know how your thyroid is. Like there is no way because your T3 is the only usable form of thyroid hormone. So I find that pretty crazy that if you go to your GP, the only thing they will test is TSH, which tells us nothing. So anyway, in functional medicine, it is pretty clear that we need your T3 levels. So we test that. And then we also test thyroid antibodies to make sure you don't have Hashimoto's. Then we test your blood sugar, your insulin, your hemoglobin A1C, which is an average of your blood sugar in the last 3 months, which is super powerful to know if we are dealing with a slow metabolism, if we need to support your body in any way. Then we also get to test your vitamin D levels, which is so important because vitamin D is in fact a hormone and it is responsible for more than 400 body functions, if it's not more. It is crucial to support so many systems in your body, including your immune system. Of course, we know that, but supporting your skin, supporting your sleep, supporting your digestion, your detox pathways. I mean, it is doing everything. So it is nice to test it. And just side note, I tested mine this summer and I thought, my vitamin D levels are going to be incredible because I did a test. I stopped supplementing in the summer. And instead I worked outside a lot. I was working out outside. I was walking outside and I was trying to have as much skin exposed. I really built my skin tolerance. it was amazing. And so I thought, my vitamin D levels are going to be through the roof. And well, I was shocked. They were in the red. So it is crazy. I'm in Quebec, which is a very high latitude, and it's showing me like even in summer, I don't even get enough sun exposure to build my own vitamin D. So this is a good reminder to people that are telling me that vitamin D supplementation is not needed. This is proof that, well, it is, and I'm getting back at it now, and I'm going to start taking it all year long because clearly my body is needing more. And what else do we test on this? I think I've talked about everything. So yeah, so that's the test that we're going to now make available to you. So if you're curious, if you're like, you know what, I should really invest into figuring out what my baseline are. I understand that some of you need the data before even being called to going deeper and maybe being supported. So we're going to offer this test, and it's going to include a 90-minute consult. So a 60-minute consultation with Jenny, which is our clinical coach, as well as a 30-minute follow-up. And then you have the option to have a Telegram coaching day with me to go back and forth on it. So we're going to release that. If that's something you are feeling called by, and if you want this kind of high level precision, this type of biohacking conversation, if you want to be coming in this type of, if you want your labs to be looked at with this kind of vision and precision, this is what we're here to offer. And I understand that maybe this is your first step, and I want to make that available for you. So just DM the word labs, and we will send you the link, and we will see if it's a good fit for you. Now, I should say this lab is a functional medicine lab. We're using a lab in the States, and this is something that you get to do at home. So it is the most convenient thing. So what we do is we will ship you the box. And all you got to do is spit in a tube 4 times a day. That's to have your four cortisol points, so your full curve. And then you'll have to prick your finger in the morning, and that's it. And then you ship that back, and we get the results within usually 3 weeks. It's pretty quick. It is amazing, life-changing. Seriously, I'm not kidding. Having this kind of level, this high level of precision about your health is so amazing. So I'm excited to be offering this to you. You asked, I'm delivering. That's what I do. I love listening and hearing, like, what is it that you need? What is it that would be helpful? And being able to talk to my team and be like, yes, let's make this happen. So come and find me in my DMs, comment labs, and we will send you the link, LABS, and we will send you the link. And again, thank you so much for actually sharing your feedback, sharing the things that you would love to hear more. And I want to remind you that this goes also for this podcast. If there's a topic that you would love me to dive into, if there's a question that you have, please always feel free to send them to me in my DMs, because I'm planning ahead my podcast titles, but I'm always happy to add more, because I'm doing this for you, right? I'm not doing this podcast for me at this point. I'm doing it for you. I'm doing it to be of service. I'm doing it to be helpful and useful and meaningful and valuable. So if there's something you'd like me to address, please send me your questions, and it will be my absolute pleasure to do my best to try to do a podcast on it. So thank you for being here week after week. You matter so much. I value your time. You have no idea how much gratitude I have for you. Thank you. I hope this episode was useful as usual, and I cannot wait to see you next Tuesday. Bye for now.
The information shared on this podcast is for information purposes only and doesn't provide any medical advice. Vanessa Grutman does not cure, diagnose, or treat disease. Please consult your physician before trying any new protocol or product.